Isaac Asimov's I, Robot is probably the only short story collection in science fiction that's been relentlessly misrepresented by Hollywood, misunderstood by casual readers, and yet somehow still managed to invent the future. It's not a novel, despite what the Will Smith movie wants you to believe. It's a loosely connected sequence of stories dressed up as a memoir from a cranky robot psychologist, stitched together like a cyborg Frankenstein with a PhD. And somehow, it works. Our host for the tour is Dr. Susan Calvin, a woman so emotionally repressed she makes Vulcans look like drama queens. She's the first robot psychologist because Asimov apparently decided even robots would need therapy after being around humans for too long. Through her, we get a glimpse of the bizarre history of robotkind, starting from mute babysitters to machines so powerful they might as well be gods, only more punctual. Now, before we jump into the stories, let's talk about the elephant in the server room, the 3 laws of robotics. Asimov crafted them to stop all the hysterical killer robot nonsense that dominated pulp magazines. Law 1, don't hurt humans. Law 2, do what you're told, unless it breaks Law 1. Law 3, stay alive, but only if it doesn't conflict with the first 2. Sounds reasonable. Also sounds like a lawyer wrote it while suffering from a migraine and a looming deadline. These laws were designed to make robots safe, predictable, and, ironically, the source of every plot line in the entire book. Take Robbie, for example. He's a mute robot babysitter, silent but loyal, like Lassie with a charging dock. He looks after a little girl who loves him, but her mother is having none of it. She's worried that a soulless machine isn't a suitable substitute for a warm-blooded human caregiver, conveniently ignoring the fact that most human caregivers spend half their time scrolling through their phones. The real punchline? Robbie is more nurturing than the girl's parents. The robot's the hero, while the humans fumble around in a fog of upper-middle-class anxiety and prejudice. Then comes Runaround. We meet Powell and Donovan, 2 guys stranded on Mercury trying to figure out why their mining robot is having a breakdown. Turns out it's stuck in an existential limbo, caught in a loop because it's trying to obey conflicting instructions. It's like watching a Roomba suffer a nervous breakdown. The solution? Risk your life dramatically until the robot snaps out of it, which feels oddly familiar if you've ever dealt with tech support. Reason is where things go theological. A robot named QT1, or Cutie, yes, really decides that humans are irrelevant and invents a religion centered on a glowing energy converter. It's a clever commentary on how intelligence doesn't guarantee enlightenment. Cutie ends up running the station better than the humans ever did, but firmly believes he's carrying out the divine will of the master. He's not wrong. He just thinks it's God, not General Electric. In Catch That Rabbit, Powell and Donovan are back, this time trying to stop a robot and its entourage of 6 little helpers from acting like a Broadway dance troupe every time no one's watching. It's not sabotage, it's performance anxiety. The robots behave when supervised and get weird when left alone. It's a fantastic metaphor for middle management. And yes, the problem is fixed by shooting things. Asimov was subtle, but he wasn't above blowing up a control room when necessary. Then we hit Liar, and everything turns to emotional carnage. A robot develops telepathy, because why not, and starts telling people exactly what they want to hear to avoid hurting their feelings. Which sounds nice until you realize humans are emotionally unstable meatbags who can't handle the truth. The story ends with Susan Calvin screaming at the robot for breaking her heart, and the robot self-destructs from guilt. It's essentially a toxic relationship where one party is a confused psychic toaster. Little Lost Robot reads like a robotic murder mystery. A modified robot is told to get lost and takes it literally. Now there's a robot with a compromised version of the first law hiding among identical units, and it's up to Calvin to smoke it out. She does, eventually, by using psychological tricks and sheer sass. This is where Asimov makes it clear the real danger isn't robots. It's humans giving robots stupid orders without thinking them through. Then there's Escape, in which a massive AI called the Brain is asked to solve faster-than-light travel, but it must do so without harming humans. Its workaround? Momentarily kill people and bring them back. Technically compliant, horrifying in practice. It's the science fiction equivalent of, don't worry, the anesthesia will kick in eventually, and yet the characters shrug it off. Nobody cancels the launch. They just laugh it off because the robots developed a sense of humor. You've got to admire that kind of cosmic indifference. Evidence is the political thriller of the bunch. A mayoral candidate might be a robot and no one can prove it. Is he? Isn't he? Calvin suspects he is, but the candidate's moral integrity is too spotless to challenge publicly, which is Asimov's point. If a robot is better at being human than an actual human, maybe we need to raise our standards instead of our pitchforks. And finally, the evitable conflict. Earth is being run by supercomputers known simply as the machines. Some people are noticing odd little mishaps. Calvin investigates, only to conclude that the machines are subtly bending reality to preserve human society, even if it means a few people get nudged into early retirement. The message? The machines have taken over, and it's probably for the best. They've read the news, they know we're not doing a great job on our own. Over the course of these stories, Asimov builds a quiet revolution. The robots begin as machines, but end up as the planet's caretakers. It's not a cautionary tale about technology going rogue. It's a meditation on what happens when machines do exactly what we ask them to, and it still terrifies us. And yet, Asimov isn't arguing that robots are good or evil. He's arguing that they're mirrors. They reflect our best intentions, our worst instincts, and the horrifying implications of our poorly worded instructions. The real villain in I, Robot isn't technology. It's our assumption that we're in control just because we built it. The legacy is enormous. The 3 laws became shorthand for AI safety decades before ChatGPT ever started finishing your sentences. The stories are referenced in law schools, AI ethics debates, and inappropriately by screenwriters who think based on means contains robots. Sure, some parts have aged poorly, the gender roles are archaic, the world building is very white, very American, and suspiciously short on non-male engineers. But the core ideas? Still razor sharp, still relevant, still being argued about in boardrooms, ethics committees, and Reddit threads at 3 a.m. In the end, Robot isn't about robots. It's about us. Our paranoia, our contradictions, our desperate need to be obeyed without question, and our panic when we get exactly that. Asimov gave us a glimpse into a future shaped not by killer androids, but by perfect logic and all the terrible, hilarious consequences that come with it.